FanDaze is all about being a fan, but also being a fan of Behind the Magic, and you're gonna see how it works and how it is to create Disney characters. Because tonight, we got a very special someone. You ready? Okay, here's the biography. He joined the animation department of Walt Disney Production in the 80s and soon established himself as a supervising animator on several villains in Disney animated features. He's also known for animating Mickey Mouse in his more recent animated appearances. But right before welcome this mysterious man, let's watch a recap. Favorite scene. Jafar, I'm starting. Je vous demande d'accueillir, please give me a big warm round of applause to the Disney legend, Andreas Deja.
Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine.
And how are you?
It's amazing to have you here. Come on, let's.
All the way from LA just for you guys.
Just for you guys. It's a very exclusive
gathering.
Visit. Yes, yeah. Exactly. It's not the first time you come here. Yeah, you've been here 15 years ago, 17 years ago.
17 years ago when this place opened.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you want me to talk about that?
Oh yeah, okay. Let's talk about it.
So the cool thing was that Roy Disney and I opened this pavilion up here.
Roy Disney.
Yeah, who was
Roy
Disney.
The Roy Disney.
His father was Roy Disney as well, brother of Walt Disney. But Roy wanted to open this, and he asked me if I wanted to join him and help him out. So I said, yes, I really would like to do that. And Roy, at that time, was spending some vacation time in Ireland, in the town of Cork. Him and his wife had a nice mansion there, beautiful place. So, but then his secretary called me and she said, you know what, you don't have to fly United or with an airline. We're going to fly Roy's plane over there, so why don't you just join us? his jet, his private jet, and he had just sold his small jet that was seating maybe about 10 people. This big jet would seat about 100 people. It was a huge plane with a TV viewing area, a dining room, and a relaxing type kind of room. There was a bedroom for Roy and Patty in the back.
Air Force One.
Basically Air Force Roy. Okay, it was Air Force Roy. It was amazing. So him and his family, we flew to Cork, and Roy picked us up at the airport, and him and his wife cooked us a lovely dinner. And then the next day, we flew from Cork to Paris and opened this up to this very stage, and it's still the same. It hasn't much changed at all. The plant is a little larger, but hang on, it's actually fake.
Yeah, it's fake.
They couldn't have grown.
But we had some of your characters in it. Yeah,
dressed it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But talking about that, let's start by telling us the story of your career in Disney. How do you start working for us?
I had a kind of a unique start. I was driven at an early age, and it all started when I saw The Jungle Book when I was 11, growing up in Germany. And The Jungle Book came out, and my life had a mission. I mean, from one day to the next, it was a different thing. And I said, this is what I really want to do, that. So I talked to my parents about that and my family, and they said, you're going to America to work for Disney. Sure you will, you know. I mean, they didn't keep me from pursuing this, but they thought it's never going to happen, never. But like I said, you are kind of driven and you want to find out about this. So with the help of my English teacher, I sent a letter to Disney Studios, Los Angeles, without the zip code, because I had no idea. And anyway, it got there, and the questions were basically, how can I prepare myself here in Germany for the situation that I maybe sometime in the future can work for you guys over there? And they wrote me back. They actually wrote back. And I still have that letter. And in it was actually kind of fascinating what they told me. They said, when you show us your work, which you have to do, because we want to see how you draw, but please don't send us any copies of Mickey Mouse and Pluto and Donald Duck, because we can teach you that stuff later. They said you have to become an artist on your own right first, meaning you have to go to art school, learn how to draw the human figure. When you're older, you have to do life drawing, so you really have to know the human figure inside and out. They said, draw your parents, draw your brothers and sisters, draw your pets. You have to go to the zoo and draw all of the animals and study them, and then show us what you can do. So I took that very seriously, and I think I started life drawing when I was 14, 15, kind of young. Yeah. And I remember actually, I brought these first life drawings of nude people home. Oh. And my father said, so you guys had photographs in the class and you drew from the photographs? I said, no, these people actually undressed and we have to learn this. So my father was, this is not going to happen. So he called my art teacher at school, and my art teacher said, no, this is kind of normal. This is how young artists get started. Yeah. So then it was okay for me to continue life drawing classes. And then I seriously applied again in early of 1980, and I started in August of 1980. So that was my path to Disney Studios.
Get it? Yeah. And we're glad.
Kind of straightforward, but
yeah, it was quite fast between the second time you apply and they hire you.
But again, I took that advice really seriously. Once I really got it, that you have to know anatomy and bone structure and how things work and move in order to animate something like Bambi. I mean, it's just so obvious. You know, you have to learn this and you have to know stuff so you can do stuff. So it made sense to me. So I went to all the zoos around and just drew, and that's the lamb.
Yeah, and you created all those amazing characters.
Yes.
By the way, which one was the most challenging to create?
They're all, I mean, these were all fun to do. When I look at this setup right there, Roger Rabbit comes to mind. He was not difficult in terms of drawing or animating them, moving them, because he's very cartoony. There are no subtleties with Roger Rabbit. If you draw one eye a little bit smaller than the other, nobody's going to notice, because he's a broad character, a cartoony character. But what was difficult about that project was putting him into the live-action world. That was tricky, because it had to be perfect. You know, when you look at the footage of Roger Rabbit, you have the camera moving. You know, it's it's not standing still very often. So it might be hovering a little bit like this, or zooming in, or zooming out. And how do you plant the rabbit or the other characters respecting the camera move? You know, like growing in size and getting smaller in size and all that. So I had to figure that out. We all had to figure that out. But in the end, it worked. It wasn't easy, but it worked, and it became a groundbreaking film. And the other one that was just difficult drawing-wise would be Gaston, because he was supposed to be handsome. They told me this early on. My first drawings of Gaston were like a villain, you know, with a big jaw like Captain Hook, you know, and a mustache and villain facial expressions. And I remember I did a scene for the film. It was during the opening song of the film, and our boss Jeffrey Katzenberg said, "Well, the animation looks fine, but he has to be handsome." And I said, "He's the villain, you know, why?" So he didn't answer my question then, but then about a couple of weeks later, he called me into his office and he said, "You know what? I really have to explain to you what this movie is about and what the theme of Beauty and the Beast these days is. It really is, don't judge the book by its cover." So on one side we have the Beast, who is really ugly and scary, like crazy, and horrifying. But throughout the story we find out he has a heart of gold. And on the other side, graphically, we have Gaston, who looks very handsome and somebody who might marry Belle, but we find out he is actually a bad guy. He's a male chauvinist, he's full of himself, and he becomes a murderer in the end. So that has to be all very clear in terms of their personality arcs and graphically. And I remember telling Jeffrey, but a handsome guy is so much more difficult to draw. And he said, "Well, nobody said it was going to be easy," and the meeting was over. That was it. So from that point of view, he was tough, yeah.
Well, I can see that we can't miss him. Yeah, there's a Mickey right in the middle of that. And we all know that Mickey was created by Walt Disney himself. How was it to animate the boss?
The most famous animated character in the world.
Yes.
It was scary. Because everybody knows Mickey Mouse. The whole world knows Mickey Mouse, you know, and what he looks like and how he moves and all that. So I thought if I screw this up, people are going to know that Andreas screwed up Mickey. So that wasn't going to happen. And so what you really do is do a lot of research on the old films that we really like. And some of our favorite ones really were the Mickey from the late 1930s into the early 40s. So the Fantasia Mickey, and slightly before and slightly after. I mean, those Mickeys are really solid and really appealing and work beautifully. And luckily over at Disney we have a place called the Animation Research Library. They literally kept all these millions and millions of drawings that were ever done at Disney, whether it's layout drawings or background paintings, and all of the animation scenes nicely organized by sequence and by title, film title. So I could go and say, okay, I want to watch this particular scene from The Sorcerer's Apprentice, and I could take that scene and flip the drawings and see how they drew their hands and how they made them turn, the facial expression. You find out that Mickey's ears never move in perspective. They're always round and they float on his head, you know, as he's moving around. Why that works, nobody knows. You just do it, you know. So you have to know stuff about the character, the history of the character. So I did all that, and then I was told we're doing a Mickey Mouse project in Paris. Do you want to go? Well, yeah, of course I wanted to go. So we had a satellite studio in Montreuil, which is kind of between here and Paris.
It's really neat here. Yeah, it's a halfway. Yeah, exactly.
So I came over here for almost a year, and with a very, very talented French crew, animated a Mickey Mouse short called Runaway Brain, in French, Mickey perd sa tête. And it's a satire on the Frankenstein story. So Mickey Mouse turns into a monster temporarily and then turns back into Mickey. So, yeah.
Yeah, and actually you draw it like in a very horrific way, because that was the first time we saw Mickey like that scary.
It was just kind of fun to take the nicest animated character too, you know, and to turn him into a monster and rough up his ears and give him teeth and saliva. It was just fun, you know. And I want to add a little story about this. We were almost done with the short, and then the studio gave us crew jackets, you know, as you do sometimes, you know, Runaway Brain, crew. But on the back, we had actually a drawing of Mickey printed on, and it was the bad Mickey, you know, the torn up one, the one that looked like this.
I think we got the one of it, yeah, over there.
Like
very evil.
Very evil looking and haggard and all that. And so I was wearing that jacket. I came to this park, and I go into one of the little stores here on Main Street and check out some merchandise. And this woman comes up to me, and she was all upset. She says, "What is this? What are you wearing? This, you shouldn't be coming to the park, you know, wearing this counterfeit merchandise, you know." And I'm going, hello. I said, "We are in Montreux, we're doing a movie." She wouldn't want to have any of that. She just kind of shushed me out. Go, you know. But I thought it was really cute because she felt so strongly about the character. You know, she was working for Mickey, kind of, you know, and she had really strong feelings. And to her, I was wearing this counterfeit jacket, which of course it wasn't. It was just a cute moment, you know.
But we're all protecting Mickey. He's the boss.
He's the boss,
him.
yeah.
But when you got a mission to create a new Disney character, what is your process? How do you do it?
It really starts with teamwork. I'm not the only one involved in a character, and I'm not the first one either who starts. By the time I come onto a movie, they will already have created storyboards, which is like a comic strip of the whole film, the story, still images, so I can take a look at how the story artist drew, Jafar or Scar or whoever. Then there'll be some visual development artists that have done some rough character sketches, not finalized, but some loose ideas of the character, so I can take a look at that. And if they have found the voice actor or actress yet, then I can listen to some voice recordings and close my eyes and imagine that something that works with that voice and image. So I can basically look at all these things, but I have to make it my own because I have to animate this character and draw the character over and over again, of course, or at least a year, sometimes longer. So I have to feel comfortable with that. But it basically is a team effort, but because I'm the supervising character or the supervising animator on this character, I kind of choose and pick and make it my own. That's how that works.
Well done, actually. We all love them, yeah. All iconic.
And I can't stress the influence of the voice enough. When you have a good voice, it really feels like the scene is half done because it's so obvious what to do with this character, especially with Scar. When we had Jeremy Irons for the voice, that man had a way with the words. He could make mediocrely written dialogue sound like Shakespeare, like really good. And I kept telling the crew, I said, I don't know, he can read the phone book. I want to animate this. Because he just had a way, you know, with the way he would say things. So it was always easy to start a scene with Sky. It was never like, what am I going to do here? I could do it like this or like that. It was like, no, this is so clear and clean the way he read the lines. It was so full of life and personality. You don't always get a voice like that. But his was one of the strongest, for sure.
Yeah, and the more memorable. I don't know if we noticed that, but when I introduced Andreas at the very beginning of this session, I mentioned a title. Yeah, in 2015, you were invited to the D23 Expo, and during that convention, you were honored as a Disney legend. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here's a Disney legend.
Well, that was a good day when that happened.
That's awesome. How do you feel to be part of that teeny tiny circle?
I know, because you have legends. You think like our people who work with Walt Disney, you know, like Catherine Beaumont, the voice actress of Wendy and Peter Pan, those kind of people. And here's just little me. But they called me anyway. And I remember I got the call. I was driving my car, and I had my cell phone attached to the front of my car. And it was a lady who worked in the Disney archives. And she says, are you doing anything in June of this particular year? Are you going anywhere? I said, no, I think I'm in town. I'm not going anywhere. She says, good, because we're going to make you a Disney legend. And I was like, you know, trying to avoid the trees in front of me. It's like, this can't be true. So then a couple months later, there you were at D23 in this 8,000 people auditorium.
Oh.
And you have to make a speech. So I wanted to be spontaneous, though I didn't have anything written that I just read. Some people did that. Some of the pros did that. And it's just kind of cold. I just had some points I wanted to cover. But the cool thing was, I was sitting right in the audience next to George Lucas and his daughter. So I had a nice chat with George about Star Wars and other things. So, and what this basically means, you know, when they give you this Disney Legend Award, that the company really liked what you've done. And so in my case, for 30 years, you know, they just honored me with that, and it was really, really nice. I really appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, you deserve it. Okay, guys, this is the time.
Is it?
Is it? Yes. But before that, you're still drawing now. You're not working for Disney anymore, but you're still drawing.
I'm still doing.
And you got a project.
I have a kind of a big project.
Big project. Tell us about it.
A few friends of mine and myself got together. Actually, I had the original idea. I can take that credit. To do maybe an animated film about a big animal and a little girl. And I thought, what big animal would be fun to draw? And I thought, well, you've done Lion King, you've got some knowledge about lions. Maybe a tiger would be really, really cool with all the stripes, you know, and how they turn and see the power of their muscles and all that. So I said, what about a story between a tiger and a girl? And what if she finds him in the forest? He's an orphan, and she raises him, and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, of course. And as he becomes large, there are some bad people around her who know that a dead tiger is worth a lot of money on the black market. And she finds out about this, and she knows he's really endangered. The only way she knows she can save him is to take him back deep into the forest where she found him and hope he would stay there. But things are not going according to plan. So that's just the gist of the story. There's more to it. There's her friend Alex, there's her grandmother, and all these other characters. But it's going to be a full half hour, which is an epic if you do it from your home studio. It's an epic. But I'm pretty sure we can finish by the first half of next year. And I haven't said this before, I have music in it by Richard Sherman, the Richard Sherman from the Sherman Brothers.
Oh, really?
Because I've known Richard for a few years, and a while back, he asked me what I was doing, what I was working on. This was over dinner. And I said, well, I'm working on this story. And I told him the story, and that night I told it, I think, particularly well. I think it was meant to be. And he was fascinated by it. And he said his fingers were tapping on the table. He said, oh, I think somebody here, a musician with some Russian background, which he has, can maybe write a song for this film. And I said, Richard, you're kidding, right? He says, no, I can see the sequence, you know, maybe where they're growing up together. I'm going to write this lullaby. And he did. And so his song is the musical theme or the center for the film. So I'm still pinching myself. Because I grew up with his songs, with Jungle Book and Aristocats and all of those. You know,
and Mary Poppins.
And Mary Poppins, exactly. And to now working with Richard, and he was also involved in story meetings as well early on. So he was just fantastic to work with. So yeah, it's been a journey. And watch out for, the film is called Mushka, which is Russian for sweetheart. So coming to a theater near you next year, hopefully.
Yeah, and we will see it. Congratulations! I can't wait to see it. It's going to be good. It's going to be fantastic.
Very emotional story.
And the story is so moving. And now we got a Sherman. Oh my God!
Exactly.
It's amazing. Okay, it is time. Are you ready to draw?
Time to get to work.
Yes. So tonight,
seize your weapons.
Andreas is going to teach you how to draw one of his major characters. Please have a sit. But there's a lot of different characters. If you don't remember which one, I got it all on my t-shirt. So, which one are we going to draw? Do you have your favorite one?
I don't really have a favorite one. Why don't we let the audiences decide?
Okay, which one do you want to draw?
Gaston. Gaston.
Oh, it's mixed up.
It's a little bit mixed. I heard Scar first, though.
You want Scar? Okay, let's. Oh, yeah, she's got Scar. Okay, so we're gonna draw Scar, the evil brother of Mufasa.
So follow me as I'm doing this step by step. The first thing we're going to do is draw a circle. We always start out with a circle. This is to say, this is where the head is going to be, right there. And you can draw kind of loose. You don't have to be clean and tight and perfect. Just draw loose. And I thought maybe if I do the center line for his face like this, then he's going to look at us from the corner of his eye, kind of. And then I can already start by adding some details like his mean eyebrows. So this would be the near eyebrow. Like that, and you can see that I'm leaving out a little bit of space here because that's where his scar is going to be. And Then I'm going to take it down to his nose, a line like this. And then we do kind of similar here. And then this side would show the ear coming out, like that. And then this would go down toward the shoulder area, like that. And then you just add some whiskers. You kind of vary the length a little bit between 3 or 5, you know, something like that. And that's basically Jeremy Irons as a lion.
Yeah, definitely.
And the funny thing is that he recognized himself too in the animation that I'd done early on. I showed him some test animation, and I didn't know what he expected because he had never done a voice for an animated film. And he looked at the footage of the animation. He says, "Oh my God, he looks like me." So he saw himself in the drawing, in the animation. So how are you guys doing?
Come on. Yeah, it's time to show us.
Oh, he said, no. I can't draw a straight line. I've heard all this before. It's all practice. I guarantee you guys, it's all practice.
It's all practice, yeah.
Come on, show.
Come on. Take your
Let's see what you
board
got.
and show us.
There you go. There might be different sizes, but they're all good. They're all great.
No, pretty good. It's pretty good.
You asked for Scar.
Yeah. You asked for it, and look at his face.
Very nice.
Sure. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool. Yeah,
Wow.
really good ones.
Oh, very good. You can have a big round of applause for everyone. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yay.
Well done. So we have a couple. You know, it's Disney. There's always jingles everywhere.
Slight change of program here.
We have a couple of minutes with you, Andreas. Does anybody have a question for Andreas? Oh, yeah. I'll come join in. Okay. What's your question?
I just wanted to know what computer-driven design has changed for you. So I think you don't draw anymore with a pencil on a paper.
That's true. All the major studios, including Disney, are doing CG animation only, but I don't. So I just saw early on that this was for other people to enjoy and do, and I wanted to stay. I should stand up so I can see you guys better. I decided that I want to stay with 2D animation, and hence started my own project. So the way that works right now, I still draw on paper the same way on a desk like this. I actually have a vintage desk from the 1940s, even nicer than this one, because this is kind of modern. So I still draw on paper, scan the drawings, and then there's an animation program called TV Paint that all 2D animators use. It was actually developed here in France, but it's sold worldwide. So I bought a license to that, and then you can do anything. You can add color with that, and you can do camera moves and everything. So TV Paint is really cool. That's the one I use.
So Moshka will be all
hand drawn. I mean, the piles at my house of drawings are like getting bigger and bigger, you know, because we're getting kind of toward the end. So yeah, there'll be lots of drawings, and I think I'm going to do a charity sale of some of the drawings, maybe Save the Tiger, kind of a
Save the Tiger.
charities, something like that.
That would be fun. That could be fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our session. Thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you. We can have a big round of applause.
Thank you.
It was such an honor to have you. I hope you had a good time. It's not over yet. The FanDaze event is going to last until 2 a.m., I think. Lots of things to see. We're going to keep you with us. What's your name?
Fabio.
You know what? You asked for scar.
Yes,
so you're gonna
be drawn. So
you're gonna get the scar.
Why should this stuff leave?
Yeah. Come on, a big round of applause. It's all yours.
Honor for me, thank you.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Prego. So thank you very much, Andreas. Thank you guys.
I'll be around answering questions if you guys have other
Yes, we're going to stay for a couple of minutes. So if you leave, don't forget your personal belongings. I'm going to open the door right now. It's over there. And have a nice evening here for FanDaze. Passez une excellente soirée. And don't forget, it's fun to be a fan!